Thank you. So yes, I'm Giorgia Quintarelli and Simone Gradizzi of La Bacheta. So regarding the project, we get into it in 2021 together. We started the project together in 2021, and it was a starting of the project that began also with our meeting. Me and Simone met in a winery in Valpolicella where we worked together. So it was also a cross of two experience and two life. For me, it was something that is also colleagued with my childhood. The vineyard, the first vineyard that we started to work on was of my mother, and she was a grower, so she used to sell the grapes. In the appellation here is something that is very usual. Just to give you an idea, in the appellation of Custoza, there are 70 domains, 70 wineries more or less, and there are 180 growers. So just to let you understand like the numbers of the growers, so is something usual that here who has a little bit of land, plant some vines and grow the grapes for selling to the other wineries. So for me was mostly growing into this vineyard that was planted in 2003 when I was 4. So I remember of the herbes when I was little, and when I was able, from the moment I was able to pick up the grapes, I was asked to help a little bit in the herbes. So in the beginning, I also ate a lot the herbes and the vineyard, because when you are a child, maybe you prefer to join friends in swimming pool and not harvesting. So it was something very that brought me to my childhood. Then for sure, growing up, this link came to me, and despite my study, I have not studied in the viticulture or enology, but despite my study, this link brought me to France and to Châteauneuf-du-Pape, because I understood that I wanted to go deeper in the winemaking and understand more the winemaking, like to be a vigneron, because my mother had this vineyard at home. I started to understand that there was potential, but in the area, sometimes I feel missing also the pride to be vigneron, to be winemaker, or something like the tradition of the winemaking. Custoza is an appellation where a lot of bulk wine is made. So Châteauneuf-du-Pape gave to me a lot, but most of all gave to me the sense of pride to be a farmer, but mostly a vigneron. Then gave to me the discipline that you have to have for make good wine. And also something that made me surprised was the particular knowledge of each parcel. So there I understood also the importance of having more plots, more parcels, with that you can work and
to know them.
Yeah, for sure. To have and then to know them.
To have the knowledge of them.
Yeah, exactly. So it was 2020 when I came home, was like October of 2020. When I came back home, I said, okay, I have to continue to do experience. And I went in Valpolicella. Valpolicella is nearby us. We are speaking about 15 minutes by car, and for sure is an appellation where the tradition of the winemaking start to become something more. And there, me and Simone met, And since we understand that we had the same way and same philosophy of the winemaking, of how to make the wine, so like, for example, for us it's important to have knowledge, as we said, but also to have the capacity of observe, to look what is happening in the vineyard, but also in the winery. So to try to understand time by time, vintage by vintage, tank by tank, what's happening. So being that we found that we have the same way of working, we decided and we started this project together in 2021, first vintage. Also knowing and understanding, as I said, that here there was potential. There was a lot of potential. We had not a lot of reference in the territory, but we understood that speaking about the microclimate, speaking about the soil, the different exposition that you can have, and also our wonderful varieties, we could make something. And for sure, we decided to make in a particular way, so without using anything but just the grapes. And also we put another difficulty in our job. And we also decided to do not use the added sulfates. For us is a little bit a challenge, but the most is a curiosity of what could happen. And up to now, we are quite proud and happy of the result. This is a little bit proud.
For vintages after, we are on the same way, so maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems to be working, actually.
So from 2021, we started with one plot, this vineyard that my mother planted, that is in Località Gorgo, so we maybe can call it Gorgo vineyard. And then we started to look around, and in the time we have taken another vineyard of 1 hectare that has opposite exposition and is on the foot of this hill that is called Colle Belvedere. And the last one came 2 years ago, 2023, I think. Yeah. And is this beautiful vineyard of quite 70 years old vines.
66 years old vines.
Yeah.
Which were quite abandoned right before we started to work them. Yes. So it was a little bit difficult in the beginning. It is still.
It gives us a lot of work. Yeah. It gives us a lot of work to do, but it's amazing. Also now for sure is the season of pruning, and it's crazy to prune these very old vines. It's something that gives us also an idea of how much vitality there is in the plant.
So really quickly before we go into that, you started working with the 1 hectare, and it's called Colli Vendividi, the other parcel. What year did you start? Venditere.
Yeah, Belvedere. Belvedere means like that you have a good view.
Yeah,
Belvedere. Nice view. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. And that was what year you started working with those wines?
Like 2022, I think. Yeah.
And then this new parcel of the old vines was what year?
2023, the year after. Yeah, year after year we have taken one.
Okay, and how big is that parcel of the old vines?
So this is a little bit more than 1 hectare. So it's 1 hectare and 2.
And 2, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we are around like on 4 hectares of land of the domain. 3 hectares and half are planted on vines, our vineyard.
Thank you. Now you can talk about the old vines.
And so yes, up to now, La Bacheta is composed about 3 parcels, Gorgo, and we can call the ones with old vines Tamburino Sardo, because is in a position that is called by historical reason Tamburino Sardo. There is a beautiful story behind, but maybe then we can talk about. Yeah.
And really quickly, I'd love to hear it.
Oh, yeah. So it takes back to the Second War of Independence, where like Italian was battling against the Austrian. Yes, for the independence. And there was this little guy of 14 years old that was with his group of soldiers in this location where we have this plot. And he had the job to bring a message to another group of soldiers. And so he started running for bring this message, but he was hit
because they were under attack.
They were under the attack, so he had to ask help.
For help, yes.
So he started running, but he was hit by a gun, but he continued running. So then he was able to give the message, and they were able to have help. And this guy was called by the older soldiers Tamburino Sardo, because he was coming from Sardinia, and he was the guy playing the drums
in the formation. No?
Yeah, voila. Yeah. So this is why. And so yes, these 3 plots, Gorgo parcel and Tamburino Sardo parcel, have a northwest exposition, and the other parcel have an opposite one, so southeast. We can have this different parcel because Custoza is in a little valley. Is a moraine valley, is formed by hills that are formed by moraines, so formed by debris. And this valley has like a sense that goes north, east, southwest. So we can have, is very nice because we can join these different exposition.
Yeah, okay. Opposite.
Yeah. And
here Gorgo is named after the gurgling sound of the
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, this as an idea of the territory. Here, luckily, we have a very, very good availability of water in general. There are a lot of rivers that are coming down from the hills and going through this little valley. And in particular, here in the Gorgo, we have some gargling of water from the soil. Like it's not in La Bacheta property, but our neighbor has a very nice lake that is formed by this gurgling, and is very nice for. So is a little bit difficult for the viticulture because a lot of water means a lot of humidity. So anyway, it's a little bit difficult to to managing this, but is very nice in general for the ecosystem. In fact, we see that there are a lot of particular birds that are stopping here. For sure, all the bees and the pollinator insects join this kind of availability. So it is super for the ecosystem.
Water attract life.
Yeah, it is. And then in the last vintages, sometimes anyway we suffer from some drought. Sometimes it's no more going to rain for a lot in the summer, so we are helped sometimes from this availability of water. Normally we are not going to watering the plants, but in this case where the drought is very hard, like 2025 was something very, very hard. This availability of water in the soil for sure helps the vines. Yeah.
And it is also balanced by the fact that the majority of our soils are made of sand and stones, so they don't keep watering them.
Yeah.
So there's a kind of equilibrium in that.
Yeah. So it's something that nowadays seems normal that or seems something that gives advantage also to be a young girl to work in viticulture. For sure it is. There are a lot of open mind on this, but I think sometimes that it is very fixed in our culture, mostly in the families, is something that you think that you are open-minded, but the culture itself gives to the family, to me, the same, a way of thinking that it is based on the male agricultural work. So it doesn't come to me now the practical example, but yeah, it's really fixed, I think, in the culture. Like also speaking with furniture supplier, for example, or a little bit on the female thing and a little bit on the young thing. So I'm both, and this creates sometimes some difficulty.
So usually Giorgia speaks to them in dialect, so they pay more attention to what she says.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is crazy. I understood very soon. Like for example, I speak Italian. Young guys here speak Italian. Normally, we no more speak a lot of dialect, so you are used to speak Italian, and I speak Italian, and I felt like a little bit of distance, in the conversation, and then like day by day, I understood that if I spoke dialect, there was like you are part of. I don't know if part of the adult world or part of the agriculture farmer work. I think more maybe farmer work. Yeah.
It's like a way of belonging to speak in dialect. You show them that you're legitimate, and they're like, I'm the same,
Yeah, I think yes. But sometimes I think that there are some things that we do and I do first, and I don't recognize immediately that are based on a patriarchal way of thinking and of doing. Yeah. I think that is something on we have to work a lot. Yeah.
Thank you. I really value that insight. That's like exactly why I want to have these conversations. It's like I have a certain idea of how things are over there, but I'm not with you, so I can't see it. So it's helpful. I want to go back for a second just to get a little more detail. So you went to Châteauneuf-du-Pape in 2019 or 2018?
2020, yeah. Was very
1 year. Yeah. Okay. And then what was the name of the state you were working there?
So it was Clos du Calvaire with Françoise Romieux. And I found a female winemaker, so this was very interesting for me, and gives me a lot of, again, of the philosophy of being a woman that is leading a winery. We have a lot of advantages, I think. Also, for example, the capacity of letting the responsibility of something to someone else. I think this is typically a woman thing. The men usually prefer to keep the responsibility for them. It's a little bit more difficult for them to leave the responsibility to others. I think is typically woman, and this gives a lot. Françoise teach me this, but teach me a lot about the passion, and about the discipline of making the wine in general. You have to be very disciplined. You have to pay a lot of attention, mostly if you work as we like to work, so without help from chemics. You need to be very focused on what you are doing. For example, cleaning is in a simple way is very important. But then you have to, like, also you have to leave what you are doing. So you have to leave the vine, you have to leave the vineyards, you have to taste the grapes, you have to taste the seeds of the grapes, you have to taste the mass and also the leaves. You have to be in the vineyard if you want to understand what's happening and to understand which are the potential that you can take out from the grapes, for example.
That goes back to what you were saying earlier about not only knowing but observing, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's so Simone, you and Giorgia met in October 2020 at with the, what was the name of the winery? Is in La Pucella, you said? The winery where you met?
Yes. Yes, it is in Fumane, which is in Valpolicella. Actually, the name is Ugolini.
Wolini. How is that spelled? I'm sorry.
How do?
Yeah. Ugolini.
Merci. Thank you. Okay. So you met there. Grazie. And Simone, you had already been working there when Giorgia started, or you came on around the same time?
No, I was working there. I've been working there 2 years before Giorgia. And yes, I stayed there for 5 years in the end. She left first than me.
Yeah, I left first because I realized that there was a lot to do at home. So I left first and started to concentrate on La Bacheta.
Yeah.
And Simone, can you tell us a little bit about how you became interested in wine and how you started working in winemaking?
Yes, of course. Actually, it's to say the truth, after the high school, I just didn't know what to do. And I was born in Valpolicella, so I lived there. And in that period of my life, as I say, didn't know what to do. So I looked around myself and I saw vineyards everywhere. And so I thought maybe as university, I can study viticulture and enology. So maybe I can get a job then. And so I did it. Already during the university, I started to understand that it was something made for me, and so it was something that I discovered just making it, and of course, then I started to work. My first job was in Chianti Classico, near the city of Siena, in Castellinvilla. That was my best working experience beside La Bacheta, of course. And so actually it's like that. I just tried, and in the path I discovered that it was my life about that. Actually, very, very simple.
But the simple stories are, so it's good.
He discovered that he could do it very well, I think also. I think that was something also in your veins. Also, the grandfather of Simone had some vineyards, being from Valpolicella. So I think I believe a little bit about the,
maybe,
the talent that you can have.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I love how you two have these sort of like similar but different journeys to arrive at wine, and just the shared motto, as you said earlier, how you sort of have the same philosophy, which is to know but also to be observant. So that brings me back to the vineyards, which I said I was going to ask you about. So it's Moraine Hills around the Garda in Custoza, and you were saying 2025 was a hot vintage, but you had good water to balance that out. How does the climate and the way that the climate changes from one vintage to the next change what wines you make? you know, how do you determine what grapes go into which cuvee, and how is that influenced by the climate?
Yeah, thank you. So yes, so here we have a particular climate. As I was talking, we have a microclimate that is mostly, so joints of different influence. We are nearby the Garda Lake, so for sure we join, for example, the wind of the Garda Lake. The Garda Lake is this big mass of water that creates a little bit a different temperature. So this creates a movement of air. So for example, there are some daily winds. In the morning, there is this wind that is called pale air that comes down from the north, from the mountains. And in the evening, we have this wind that is going southward to the mountain, so back to the mountain, that is called aura. And this is, they are daily winds, and this is very useful for the wine. Mostly in the ripening season, you know, it keeps the grapes very dried. So we are in the inland part in respect of the Garda Lake. So we join less the Mediterranean climate of the Garda Lake, but we are a little bit more influenced from the continental characteristics. For example, we have very good temperature excursion during from the day to the night. This again is very useful in the ripening season. We have also some more risk because, you know, continental means that you have a very cold winter. Now speaking like that is a little bit difficult but for example, this year is cold winter, and this gives us also more risk of late frost, you know. So there are also some risk more. Speaking about the climate of the last vintage is very interesting because from 2021, that was very nice vintage. The climate was super,
perfect.
Perfect. No rain during the harvest, like a little bit of rain in spring, but not too much. Hot temperature, good temperature excursion night and day. So from that year, we started very well with 2021, but then was every year was something very hard. 2022 was very hot and drought. So for example, that year we choose to not produce the white wines. We had also the possibility to choose, but in that year we were outside with the tank because we were making some works into the winery. So we have said, okay, we cannot make. 2023 was disaster. In the spring, we had a lot of rain, and then in the end of July, some hail. So we have produced just the 20% of our capacity. And then 2024 again was a lot of rain in the spring, but ça va, we are starting to understand how to move in this way. We are organic, we work organic in the field, and so we use just copper and sulfur. So it is anyway kind of hard, but we are getting well through the like this spring where there are like rain every day for all the day, and then you have 2 hours of stop, and you have to be very fixed, and in those 2 hours you have to treat the vines. So we are getting through this, but the problem of the last 2 vintages, so 2024 and 2025, is the rain during the harvest. This is crazy because 2024 started to rain half of September, and it was quite hard because we were quite ready to start to harvest Corvina, for example, but then we choose to wait because the rasps were not ripe, and we need the rasp to be ripe making semi-carbonic. So we choose to wait, but then the rain didn't stop, so we had to do a lot of selection and anyway to harvest them. So in the last 2 vintages, the rain during harvest is making the job even more difficult.
Yes, even because usually we start in the middle of August and we go to October. We finish in October the harvest, so it's a very long period of time to harvest 4 hectares of vines, and in that window the weather can change a lot, and so it's difficult to understand what is the best decision to make.
Yeah. Exactly. This year, for example, having seen what's happened the last vintage, so in 2024, when it started to rain, we had a good balance of ripeness, and we have choose to harvest, not to wait, because we have seen that waiting, the situation was just worse. Mostly with Garganega. Garganega is a variety that is quite difficult to manage when it's raining in the ripening season, because it can take a lot of water from the soil. Is a variety that was selected.
Just to say, the Garganega we harvested in the beginning of September had the same sugar content to the one that we harvested 1 month later. Just to give an idea.
Yeah,
it's a very sensitive grape. The Garganega is very. So how do you? And it sounds like you have to make a decision as you go. Like you have to improvise. You can't sort of decide ahead of time. So how do you handle that sensitivity across the wines, like cellar? Because you vinify it so differently in each cuvee, you know?
Yeah. So yes, it depends a lot from what happened in the vineyards, but for sure we know what more or less what we need from the grapes for making those wine, you know. So for example, I was saying before, we need for the Corvina the rust to be ripe. But if in the vintage we see that we cannot reach this point of ripeness, we harvest the grape or we let them dry for like some days. This is a method that we are used because we are, as I was saying, we are coming a little bit and we are nearby Valpolicella, where the drying of the grapes is tradition. So we use this kind of method in the way the rust can ripe, but they are under a roof, you know. So we harvest.
So you put the grapes in 5 kilogram boxes, harvested very carefully, and maybe you wait
1 week,
2 weeks. Yeah. Of course, it's a big job because the grapes must be absolutely perfect. When you put them in those boxes, and
you cannot crush neither a grape, neither a bunch.
It's like what you were saying earlier about how you learned in Chapter to Pop how clean you have to be in the cellar. The same attention you have to pay to the grapes. Yeah. You can't crush a single one if you're waiting for them to dry out like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So, for example, it really is about seeing what's happening in the vineyard and understand how we can manage it in the winemaking. You know, for sure, I think sometimes we have to look one to each other and have also the courage to be brave to say, okay, this year we are going to do in some way different, you know, because maybe we can dry some grapes, but then if the rust is not very ripe, we are open also to say, okay, this year Corvina will be a little bit vinified in a traditional way, so crushing the grapes and taking out the rust for I think in the way we work, we cannot have like a fixed rule, a fixed recipe for making the wine. We have to be open to understand what is the best to do.
That's really helpful. I was going to ask you, will you have more single varietal wines going forward as the Garganega and the Corvina? But now from what I'm hearing, it sounds like you kind of figure it out when you do, and like maybe there will be, maybe there won't, like time will tell.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting to be open and to see what's happening and not, as I said, fix on the single variety. For sure, some of the wine keeps on the single variety, for example, Corvina, or for example, Isa and Luna, or the Champenoise Renaissance. But for Naissance, and this came with the vineyard that we have taken. First vintage was Garganega 100%, because we were working with Gorgo vineyard, and then came in the other vineyards. We have also some other varieties that are local varieties and typical varieties of the appellation of Custoza. And so we took the challenge and tried to vinify it all together, so to make a blend. And with 2025 vintage, we also want, and we are curious about sending the sample to the Appellation Commission, just to see how it's going. I think it is interesting. Yes. And we think that they work very good together anyway. Yeah. Blend is working well together.
But yes, the majority will be single variety wines.
Yeah, they still single variety. We have made in the last year, like a reflection about Corvina. We are also within the Bardolino appellation, that is a red appellation, and Bardolino is usually, for rule, is made with Corvina in majority, but you have also to add some Rondinella. And it's a grape variety that we have in our vineyards, mostly here in Gorgo and also in the Tamburino Sardo on the old vines. When we have started, we have said, okay, we could make Bardolino, but we are interested in keeping Corvina all alone, because we love the expression that it gives all alone. And we wanted not to blend with Rondinella. Rondinella is a variety that is very delicate, and we fear that it could change a little bit the expression and the elegance of Corvina. And so we have think about what to do with these grapes, and something is coming out. Is now in the winery, but the first vintage will be 2024. And thinking about the tradition of the Garda Lake appellation, there is a tradition for rosé wines on the Garda Lake. So we have decided to dedicate it to a rosé champenoise. Yeah,
I'm so excited for that. That's going to be great.
Okay. So yeah, Naissance is a wine that is made with the blend, and is something that we make all through the harvest, because is composed of 4 varieties. So we have Garganega, Bianca Fernanda, Trebbianel, and a little bit of Trebbiano. So the job starts with Trebbianel in the half of August. It is a variety that ripe very, very early, and we have to pay attention on when it's ripe, because one day is ripe, the day after is small. So we have to be very focused on the harvesting. Then comes Bianca Fernanda, and with the Garganega we like to play a little bit, so to pick up some like in the beginning of September, and then going on just to October, when it gains the full ripeness. So for putting together, Garganega is a nice variety for vigneron because you can play a lot with it, picking up in different moments gives some complexity. So in general, we are a little bit sad for this because being that we have done experience in Italian, you say siamo rossisti, so we have done experience with red. We like to let ferment the different varieties all together, so not to blend after, but to let ferment together. But with this very different ripening moment of these 4 variety, we cannot do. So we have to let them ferment separately, and then to blend. So usually is a white vinification, so we directly press the grapes. From 2025, we have a pneumatic press, so this helps a lot. And also helps the wine because we are able now to extract less vegetable part to be a little bit softer in the pressing. So then the juice is going to ferment. We work in the stainless steel. A thing that we really care about is to let breathe also the white wine during the fermentation. We do not fear to let it take oxygen during the fermentation because then being in stainless steel, there is a high risk of reduction, Steel is completely closed. You have no possibility of let breathe the wine. We have to work in steel because we can clean it very perfectly, and working without added sulfate is something that we must do. And also when the CO2 is finished, we cannot no more let breathe the wine. So during the fermentation, we like to let it take a lot of oxygen. And after the fermentation, we work on the rackings, like we do 2 or 3 rackings after the fermentation for take away, very quickly, for take away all the lees, the bad lees, the big lees, and then we wait a little bit, and then we start with the batonnage. Batonnage is another technique that is very important in our winemaking for the white, also mostly, and is something that helps helps the wine, helps to fix the oxygen, helps to prevent the oxidation, but help also in the texture. I think that a lot of the texture of the wine is made from the batonnage, and is something that also makes me smile because for me is also it also means give material to the wine, so you keep the lees. That is something that usually you have to filter, you have to take out from the wine in the conventional winemaking. In this way, on the contrary, we are going to keep in contact with the wine, and for me is very important.
Which in the end it helps to clean naturally the wine.
Yeah, also, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it gives back. Yeah.
I think that's a really helpful answer because everyone has a different answer. Different vignerons have different ways of creating that. So it's always good to hear. So we only have a little bit of time left. So I'm going to ask some more broad questions again. On your website, you say that Custoza means custody or guard. And I was wondering what that means in the context of your story.
Yeah. So it means that is a little bit our philosophy, in the winemaking, but in general, I think that the vigneron work is a lot about preserve the territory, preserve the land, and also in the wine, in our way of making the wine, it means preserve what is coming from the vineyard. So to guard in this way, I think that our job is not a lot to influence, to like decide which wine, what result we have to have, what we have to do, but is more again observe, understand which is the potential, and understand what we can do for preserve this potential and for let it express in the wine. Yeah, and also a lot for sure in the territory. For example, the old vine is on the hill, and also this hill is quite steep. Quite steep, and our soil are sand, so it's very easy that the soil is going to come down. Yeah, it's a little bit difficult, but with our work, like keeping the trees or like working on the vines, we can do a part in preserving the territory and also so protect the hill, like Simone always say to me that a professor of him said to them that farmer in general have the potential to be the gardener of the territory. And so is a little bit this the philosophy of the custody that also Custoza have. Custoza is on a point that is a point of is on a border, we can say, is a little bit on a border for the past. Was a little village that also joining his position on these hills was custody from another reign, because we are on the part of Verona, and after the hill was the reign of Mantova. So there were different families. There were Gonzaga on the Mantua side, and here there were Scaligeri. So Custoza was guard custody from the other reign. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love that. And why did this name the domain La Bacheta?
Yeah. So La Bacheta is a nickname. I feel now this nickname a little bit mine, and is also a nickname of my mother. La Bacheta is diminutive of Bacco, that was my grandfather. So the grandfather of my mother was called Bacco. We never understand if it was because he drank a lot of wine, and he drank a lot of wine. So the god Bacchus, so Bacco, or because he had the little things that made the
silkworm.
The silkworm. Here was a tradition. Each farmer had some silkworm for giving him the mulberry tree leaf to eat, and then to produce the silk to sell. And these silkworm in dialect are Bacco da Seta. So
there are these two ways.
Yeah, but anyway, one is tradition, the other is wine. So my mother was La Bacheta, and now is also me. Yeah, and us.
Beautiful. That's like I think that story, I didn't know about it. That's such a big part of the name. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I did I wanted to tell you too, both of you, I love the playlist on your website with the photos. That's one of my favorite Rino Gaetano songs. Like, bravo. And it was such a pleasure to finally meet you. I love wine. We're very lucky to have them. We're very grateful. So thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a real pleasure of mine to work more with wines like yours. So I'm excited.
Okay. Thank you very much. It will be great for sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time, Kate. Is very nice for us to speak a little bit about the project, and also was great to meet you. Now you have to come to Custoza
Yeah. I'll
Yes.
bring my dog with me to meet gnocchi.
Yeah,
so.
please.
All right. Well, thank you both. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ciao, Kate.
Bye.
Ciao.